kindly just tell us where you're joining from. Welcome. It's good to see everybody. Welcome. Just tell us where you're joining from, just so we know where you are joining from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about basic questions to ask from New York. Wow. So we're in the same time zone. Welcome, Duque. Good to have you. Join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about basic questions to ask in a relationship. And the reason why we want to ask these basic questions is because so many times people have fallen prey of scammers. You know, like I like to call them scammers, because these people come with all the good intentions. They come with all the nice sounding words. They come with the gifts. They come with everything. But in the end, you find that they were just using you. And in order for us to prevent that kind of thing, we have questions that we're going to be asking whoever it is. So these questions apply for both male, both female. Everybody should be able to ask anybody these questions, okay? Everybody should be able to ask anybody these questions. For the other people, where you're joining us from, just let us know where you're joining from, just so we can say hello to you. Just let us know. Also, you guys can start to invite your friends. You can actually start inviting by tagging them in the comments just down below, or sending to them from Nigeria. Okay, and Yemi sings is from Nigeria. Yemi, do you sing? Obviously. Okay. I'm not sure what to call. Okay, so if your name, it's not easy. Like, I can't really decipher your name. Agbaje Go Right. Go Right. I don't know if that's your name, Go Right. But if it's not your name, apologies. Just let us know what your real name is. Just the next time when we see you, we know exactly what to call you. Okay? All right. So you guys just invite your friends, because you don't want to be learning alone, right? You don't want to learn alone. You want to make sure that yourself and your friends are learning. My husband is online and on the live chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, my husband. It's good to see you. Thank you for your support. Okay, you guys are inviting your friends. That is really nice. So let's keep inviting your friends. So we're just going to go straight into it. And before we start, just letting you guys know that, you know what, this is actually a Christian initiative, right? So you hear me talk about the Bible, you hear me talk about the Holy Spirit, but even if you're not a Christian, feel free to remove whatever it is you don't feel like you need, because in the end, Agbaje Gorite. Wow. Oh, wow. That is such a deep name. Thank you for sharing your name with us. That is a deep name. Thank you. So what do your friends call you? So we know what to call you as well. What do your friends call you? And just like I was saying, pick what works for you, right? The one that works for you, pick the one that doesn't work for you, just let it go. But just make sure you're learning, because it's better for all of us to find the right things that will help us to have healthy relationships, right? Even though it comes from, whatever source. And this is definitely from the Spirit of God. Simply Agbaje. Okay, Agbaje. Thank you for joining. Okay. So, how many of us have been in a relationship where you thought that everything was going well and going nicely, and then all of a sudden this person just kind of jumps ship, and you realize that the reason why was because if you had maybe asked some questions, you will have realized that this person wasn't serious? Can I see just in the comment section, anybody has been through that kind of relationship before? Anybody? And we're going to try and make it as interactive as possible. So the comment section is going to be our friend today. Anybody been in that kind of relationship? You thought they were serious, and then all of a sudden they just decided not to be serious again. And then you figured out that if only you had asked maybe one or two questions, this person would have not deceived you. Anybody like, yes, I have a witness. Yes. That is why it's important to ask questions. And like I was sharing with you guys, in one of the previous episodes, that when I was dating, yes, so we have more witnesses. So the goal today is for us not to fall into that trap again. That is the goal. And so because of that, we have questions that I'm going to be sharing. Are you allowed to say yes? No, you're not. You're not. My husband is not allowed to say yes. So By the special grace of God, I have here 50 questions, but we're not going all through 50 today. Okay, we're not doing all 50 today. We're going to do maybe 6, and then for the next couple of weeks, we're just going to continue with these questions until we are done. We have almost 60 questions actually that are very deep questions that you can ask anybody. I'm telling you, anybody you ask these questions to, they have to go back and think, because these are not just weird questions. These are not just random questions. And somebody who doesn't want to think is not interested in the relationship. So if the person is always giving excuses why they don't want to, answer your questions, or I don't think it's important, I don't think it's this, I don't think it's that, then you know that this person is really not for you, okay? And it will help you, because a lot of times, because of the pressure of society, we feel like we have to be in a relationship at every given time. But God has created you for much more than that. If you desire a relationship, there is nothing wrong with it. But a relationship should not be the bane of your existence. Like, if I'm not dating somebody, then I'm not complete. If I'm not dating somebody, then I'm not fulfilled, right? That is not what God wants for you. If marriage dating was really the bane of your existence, Jesus Christ will have married. He did not. So it just shows to us that you can still live a life of purpose even though you don't get married. Jesus died at 33, he didn't get married. So age is not really anything. Sometimes people are like, maybe 25, it's like, oh, I don't have anybody I'm dating. Oh my goodness, my time is ticking. Especially for we ladies, my time is ticking. Is anybody going to look at me? What about when I clock 30? So what? As long as you're fulfilling purpose, you're good, okay? I have a video that I did. It's called On Purpose. You find it on my IGTV series. You should go back and listen to it. It will really, really help you to see that this is the reason why God put you on the earth, okay? So, invite your friends. We already said there are 50 plus questions. Don't miss any of this series, please, okay? And even if you do miss it, go back and watch it. Okay, so from next week as well, anybody who wants to be on the live, we're going to be giving you an opportunity to do that. But you have to be single. You can't be married. Okay? You have to be single. If you're single and next week you would like to answer some of these questions, we're going to be able to give you an opportunity to do that. And it'll be nice to also meet people, right? Because some of you have been coming in, week out. We don't even know your face. So this will be a very, very good opportunity. So number one question that you want to ask whoever it is you're dating. I hope you have your papers and your pens. Should I give you time to go and get your papers and your pens? I hope you have your paper and your pens. Okay? Let's just give a little bit more time, just in case you don't have your notes handy. A little bit more time, just so you can get your notes. Because you won't be able to remember 50 plus questions in your head. So it's better to have your notes. Number one question, do you want to get married? We are ready. Okay. Number one question, do you want to get married? That's the first question. Do you really even want to get married? Yes. Do you want to? You just stood up to do that. You guys, I really like you guys. You guys are making me feel like I did not waste my time. Thank you very much. Okay. So we're ready. Okay. Number one question, do you want to get married? That's the first question to ask anybody you're dating. Do you want to get married? And we're talking about godly relationships here. And if we're talking about godly relationships, we're not just dating casually just because we just, we're lonely or we just want to be with somebody. That is not the reason why. Thank you, my husband. That is not the reason why we're just dating, just to be in a relationship, just for status. Okay, we're dating because there's a goal, there's a purpose for us to get married. So the first question you want to ask whoever it is that is asking you out, or whoever it is you're considering, male or female, ask them, do you even want to get married? Some people don't want to get married, right? And if you find yourself in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to get married, you find that you've wasted the next 10 years of your life going nowhere. So very, very important. When you find that things start to get serious, ask, do you want to get married? Or if you've been in a relationship for the past 3 months, or, when you think that this person is getting serious, do you want to get married? Like, what is this relationship about? Or if you're a lady, and a guy has, taken you out to dinner 5 times and he hasn't really said anything to you, you need to be able to ask him, so why are you taking me out to dinner? What is really going on? Why are you always chatting with me? Why are you always calling me, checking on me? What do you want from me, right? What do you really want from me? Because sometimes we just go with the flow, but in the end, you find that 2 years later, this person hasn't asked you out. The people that should have asked you out, they can't because they think you are together with someone. And even you feel like, okay, this person will come around. But in the end, they never do. and they give you their wedding invitation. You're just like a sister to me. Their bae was abroad all along and they just needed somebody. But you didn't ask a question. Like, do you want to get married? What do you really want from me? Why are you taking me out? And if you're a guy here, try to say to the lady as early as you can. You can't take her out 5 times and not have said anything. That is too long. Okay, it's too long. Let her know your intentions. I think that, we would... How do you guys say it? How do you guys say it? Help me. I feel like I see a future with you, and I'd like you to be my wife. Not like you've been taken out everlasting. 5 dates max. You should let her know what you really want. If it's going somewhere, if it's not going anywhere. You're like a sister to me. That's the one that is raining now. Okay? Let's know whether we are brothers or sisters, whatever it is, so that we can move forward with our lives, right? Very pertinent question. So number 1, do you want to get married? That's the first question you need to ask whoever it is you're dating, whether you're a girl, you're a woman, whatever it is. Do you want to get married? Number 2 question you want to ask: when do you want to get married? When do you want to get married? When do you want to get married? And it's okay, you guys, if you have questions, you can type it in the comments or just send it to the question box so that it doesn't get lost. And we'll try and answer as much as we can. When do you want to get married is another question. When do you want to get married? When do you want to get married? For a lady who has finished school, has a stable job, or even if she doesn't really have a stable job, she feels like she's in that mental space. Usually most ladies will feel like they're in a mental space to already be in a relationship, right? Or to start a family, or to start thinking about a family within the next 2 to 3 years. But for guys, it's different, because guys are thinking about, how can I provide? How can I make sure that my wife is not suffering, and doing all that stuff, taking care of, the kids, if we want to have children. So the very good question to ask is, when do you want to get married? What if you are ready now and the other person is not ready now? What if they are thinking in the next 10 years and you're saying, no, I don't have 10 years to wait for you. I might be 25 years old now, but I don't have 10 years to wait for you to get ready to get married. I am ready in the next 3 years. I am ready in the next 2 years. I'm ready in the next 6 months, right? But when you ask that question, it puts the person on the spot to actually think about it. So if it's someone that hasn't even thought about it before, then you ask that question, they now are in that headspace to say, okay, true, when do I see myself getting married? So someone doesn't keep wasting your time, and you can know whether to move on with your life or not. You'll be surprised. Some people will say, well, Charlie don't want to get married. Or when somebody is saying, I don't know, that means they don't see you in their future. Okay? Whenever somebody is not willing to plan you into their future, they don't see you in it, they will never be committed. They will never be committed. They will never, ever, 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 ever be committed. I ask you now, when do you want to get married? I don't know. You don't care. You actually don't really care. You really don't care, right? Because if you do care, you should be able to say 5 years, 10 years, or whatever comes to your mind. But for you to say, I don't know, it means the person probably doesn't care. Or the person is just not serious, which can also mean the person doesn't care. Another thing that we would like to point out is that when you go and ask these questions to people, make sure you're giving them time. Some people may need time to think about it, just like I said earlier. Some people may need time to think about it. They may need maybe 2 days, 1 day, a week, okay, for them to come back and say that this is exactly what the answer to your question is. If they don't have the question on the spot, that I don't think that's a bad thing. It's okay to give people time to do some research, especially if it's something they haven't thought about in the past before. Okay, so number 1 question. Okay, we have a question here. Let's go. Okay, so we have a question here, and the question says, is it okay to rush someone into marriage because you feel age is not on your side? This is a very, very, very solid question, and I really like it. And if you guys want to put your comments in the comment section as well, that's very, very acceptable and allowed. I personally don't think anybody should be rushed into anything. Marriage, relationship, job, investing, finances, career, anything shouldn't be rushed. Nothing should be rushed. You need time to think and clear your head, because whenever any problem comes, you want to be able to own your decision, right? So if I force somebody to come into a relationship with me and get married because I'm thinking, okay, because of age and whatnot. How about if the person is not ready and they're not able to say anything about it? You don't want to put whoever you love or you claim to love in that kind of position, right? So I don't think anything should be rushed at all. If somebody comes to me now and says, you need to invest in, and this is what happened with Nigerians that year. I don't know if you're not Nigerian, I'll try and explain as much as I can. It's called MMM. It's a Ponzi scheme. So essentially, what happens is people, pull money together, and then after a while, the money just disappears into thin air, and the initial people who started the thing are the ones who really benefit from it. So somebody comes and says, today we have to give money to this thing. We have to invest in this thing. If we don't invest today, it's closing at midnight. Go and bring all your savings, bring everything. It's problematic. This hurrying spirit, hurry, is a problematic spirit. It is very problematic. So I don't think anybody should do that to you, and I don't think you should do that to anybody as well. Whether age is on your side or not, just remember what I was just saying in the beginning. Jesus Christ did not get married. He left the earth at 33 years old. At 33, somebody did not get married and they did not feel pressure to get married. I don't think age is a factor, really. The most important thing is you want to be sure that this is somebody that you can commit to spend your life with. If you can do that, then I think that you're okay. But nobody should ever be rushed into a relationship, because you have how many years ahead of you to be able to, like, if you eventually get married, you have maybe 30 years at least. So even if we say you get married at 40 and you live till you're 70, you have 30 years in that relationship. So make sure you're really sure before you go into a marriage. And if at all you're dating or you're in a courtship and you feel like, I don't think I can be in this relationship anymore, there's actually nothing wrong in you saying you need a break to pray, pause, and think. Okay? You need a break to pray, pause, and think. Because sometimes these are the things that people are not bold enough to say that lead to problems. Okay? I hope that answers the question. I'm not seeing any feedback. I hope that answers the question. Does it answer the question? I'll just wait. Another thing again, you guys, if you have questions, just make sure you send it to the comment section. When you send it to the comment section, then it's very easy for us to track what is going on. Okay? Okay, so number 1, do you want to get married? Number 2, when do you want to get married? So the next question, which is a little bit deep, why do you want to get married? Okay, that is clear. Thank you. Why do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? Okay, yes, it does. Why do you want to get married? Can I see, what are some reasons why, we get married? Can I see it in the comment section? What are some reasons why we get married? You guys just type. Or a happy community. There's no wrong answer. What are some reasons why we get married? What are some reasons why we get married? Why? For some people, I know is, a financial decision for them, because maybe you just feel like, when I join myself with somebody else, it will make it easy for me on the bills or whatever, right? For some people, it's a financial decision. For some other people, it's status. It's a thing of, I am now a married man, I am now a married woman. Why do you marry, or why did you even get married? I just got married, whatever. I just got married. I'm waiting. What are some of the reasons why we get married? What are some of the reasons why you get married? Sometimes it's even like you just feel like that's the next thing to do. You have a stable job, you're done with school, you're done with your education, you're progressing in your career, so you think that the next thing is marriage, okay? Right? But why do you actually need to get married is a very, very big question. Why? Okay, so man must not be lonely, laughing, smiling, okay? Okay? Yeah, that is some of the reasons why people get married, because they don't want to be lonely. And I mean, when you get married, companionship is wonderful. It's really nice, especially if you married someone that is your friend, somebody that loves you, cares about you. Of course, you have a wonderful relationship. But again, let's not forget, some people are married and they are lonely. Some people are married and they are lonely still. So some people are for companionship, not to be alone. Yes, thank you very much. But remember again, some people are married and they are lonely. Some people are married and they are not still financially stable. Some people are married and the status is there, but they are not happy in their homes. So we need to go into a deeper reason. Why do you really want to get married? And for you who are on this live or watch the replay later on YouTube or Instagram, you have the advantage. That's why I'm saying don't pressure somebody into answering right here and right now. If somebody says, give me time, it shows seriousness. If somebody doesn't want to go and do some research, they're not really serious, right? They are not actually serious. And you have to let them know that this is important to me. And if you want to be in a relationship with me, you have to make sure that you do these things that I'm asking you to do. Because for me, it is important, just so I don't make any mistake. I've been burnt in the past. I really need an answer from you. Okay, so yeah, some married people are lonely in their relationship, and of course nobody comes out to say they are lonely in their marriage, right? Like, what are people going to say about them? What are people going to say? But you on this live today, you know that it's possible, and you don't just jump into a relationship for the sake of it. You do it because you have the right reason. The reason why we get married, number one, what is the origin of something? One of the things I like to do before I involve myself in anything really is to go back and ask myself, what is the origin of this thing? Where did it first start from? So like marriage as well, we need to ask ourselves, where did marriage start from? What was the origin? Why was there even marriage in the first place? Why did God institute the covenant of marriage, right? So at least now we know that God was the one who instituted the covenant of marriage. Adam was in the garden, and he was doing all the things God had asked him to do. God told him to name all the animals. He named them, looked around. And after that, the Bible says there was no companion made for Adam, right? And so God caused him to fall into a deep sleep. When he fell into a deep sleep, then God did this wonderful procedure on him, and he was able to get him his own wife. And when Adam saw her, he named her Eve, right? Mother of all living. So you see that, number one, marriage is something that God started. Number two, God was the one who chose for Adam, right? We can see that God started the idea of marriage and God chose for Adam. Adam did not go about just choosing for himself. So the reason why we get married, companionship, yes, financial status, yes, financial whatever, and whatever other reasons is good. But the main reason why we get married is because it's a kingdom thing, it's a covenant relationship that God has instituted. And if you understand that marriage is a covenant, it makes it easy for you not to go into your relationship thinking that, oh, I'm just going to, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to leave. Because I know a lot of people think that way, but as a child of God, divorce should not be in your vocabulary at all. You shouldn't think that, okay, if my husband does this to me, then I can leave him. I don't really care. Or if my wife does this to me, I can leave. Or if she gets fat after having children, then I'm going to leave. I don't really care about her. Right? So if she has stretch marks. Or what else again? And then you can just decide that I'm not doing anymore. I just want to move on with my life, right? Marriage is a covenant. And until you understand it's a covenant, you're not ready to go into a marriage. So when you ask somebody, why do you want to get married? It's a kingdom thing. It's a covenant thing. God started marriage, okay? It is a covenant. Yeah, it's a covenant. And it's just like any covenant you have. You can't just wake up one day and just decide that, okay, I'm not doing it again. I just carry my bags and I walk out. It's not that. Like, you can't, it's a covenant. You can't break it. It's not a contract. A contract is something you can go back and say. Even a contract, you can't break a contract. You signed. You've already signed. And so even when you take it to the court of law and they ask you, but you signed, this is your signature. Until you can't leave this contract until you fulfill every single bit of this contract, until you fulfill your part. You can't leave. Marriage is even deeper than a contract. It's a covenant relationship, meaning it's from everlasting to everlasting. It's not temporary, it is permanent. So when we are going into marriage, we need to have that mindset so that you don't just think that, oh, I just want to marry because of marriage's sake, and then I can leave whenever or if I find somebody better. No, you're in it with the mindset of, I am here for the long haul. I am here forever, till death do us part. And that is what the Bible encourages, till death do us part. That is what marriage is about. Okay, so ask them, why do you want to get married? Let them go and think. And if somebody is coming with shallow answers, let them know, I'm not satisfied. Can you come with more answers? I need something deep. Can you give me deeper answers? Right? And this just goes to say something about you that you're listening as well. You too, you need to be a deep person. You need to make sure your walk with God is on point. Because if your walk with God is not on point, then it's unfair for you to start asking somebody else to go and start bringing deep questions, okay? Deep calls on to deep. And that's the reason why we need to grow yourself. Make sure you're developing yourself and you're not just staying at one spot. Because it's at the level that you are, you attract. If you're on level 1, you can only attract level 1 people. If you're on level 3, you can only attract level 3 people. So keep improving yourself so that you can attract and find that person that you really want for yourself, for your future, for your life, that person you've seen in your future. You to develop yourself so that you can see that person in your life and that person too can see you in their life. Because you can't think that you want to attract, it's not like there are levels or anything, but I'm just saying it. Okay, mentally now, I need somebody who is on a level 15. But me, I'm on a level 2 and I don't want to read books. I don't want to grow. I just want to be in my own corner, just watching movies and eating popcorn and just sleeping and waking up. When a level 15 person comes close to you, the person is not attracted to you because once you open your mouth to speak, we already know you're a level 2 person mentally, but you want to attract a level 15 person. It doesn't work. So you keep building yourself. That person that you've seen in your future, that you want to come into your life, you to build yourself to be that person. I don't think that somebody will be intimidated by your success. If somebody is intimidated by your success, they are not for you. Okay? They are not for you. They are not for you. And the earlier we know that, the better. And you're not missing. You're not losing out on anything. If somebody feels like, oh, why are you so successful? Is it because you're this? Is it because you're that? I'm sorry, you are not going to help me. You are envious and jealous of me, and so therefore this relationship cannot work. Okay, so don't try and say, okay, don't worry, because I hear things like some people saying things like, oh, as a lady you shouldn't have a car because if you do, how are you going to be able to find somebody to marry? Because all the good men are trekking. Because all the good men are entering bus. Right? But if you can afford it, you have a good job and it's making your life easy, why not? I mean, there are certain parts of the world where, if you work in certain areas, you probably don't even need to drive a car there because you're going to be stressed out. You need to take the train. You need to take the subway, right? So that one doesn't, cancel the fact that you are who you are. Make sure that you're living your life and you're not putting yourself below standard just because you're looking for a wife or you're looking for a husband, okay? Number 1, do you want to get married? When do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? They need to let you understand it's a kingdom thing. And that because of that, you can see that this person will not just up and wake up one day and say, I'm not doing it again, moving on with my life. Okay? All right? Are we good? Are we good? I want to see in the comments. Are we good? As I said, another thing that you must not have in your vocabulary as a child of God is divorce. Like, don't think that, oh, I'm going to start this relationship and then I'm going to leave. Don't have divorce in your mind. Don't have divorce in your vocabulary. And the earlier you understand that, the better. The person you're also dating as well, let them know that divorce is not in my vocabulary. Is this something in yours as well? It's not part of the questions, but it's a bonus question. You can add it to your list. Is divorce one of the things you think about? Is divorce one of the things you're thinking about? Because if it is, who knows what you would do? They will not be able to. They don't want reconciliation. They don't want reconciliation, right? And that's why you're asking these questions before you go into the marriage, so that people that will hit you, abuse you, eat your food, what else again? Collect your money, watch TV all day, you won't find yourself with them. They don't want to do anything. They just want to collect your money, eat your food, finish everything. No. So that you don't get in touch with those kind of people. Please. Okay? That is not God's plan for you. God wants you to enjoy your life. Yes, that was a question on my list. God wants you to enjoy your life. God wants you to enjoy your life with the person that you would be able to enjoy your life with. Okay? A very, very important question. I think this is question. What question are we on now? Sorry. What question are we on? I think this is question 4 now. What if I earn more than you? What if I earn more than you? This is question number 4. What if I earn more than you? Guys in the house, if your girlfriend earns more than you, what will you do? What if I earn more than you? What if I earn more than you? So if you're a guy in the house and your wife, not your wife, the person you're dating asks you this question. Number 4, thank you. Somebody you're dating asks you this question. What if I earn more than you? What will you say to her? As a guy, as a guy, what will you say to her? From next week, if you guys want to be on the live, honestly, if you're single, only single people, if you're single and you want to be on the live from next week, we're going to be able to accept invitations so that, I'll ask you these questions and you let me know what you're thinking. So next week, come ready, come video ready, camera ready, so that if you want to join on the live, we will be able to do that. So as a guy, what if I earn more than you? Your girlfriend asks you that question. What will you say? I know these are hard questions and you guys are not prepared for it. Okay. Should you be intimidated as a man if the person you're dating earns more than you? Should you be intimidated? And as a woman, do you think that the person you're dating should be intimidated if you earn more than him? Is it a hard question, you guys? I think it's hard. You actually need time to think about it. What if I earn more than you? What if I earn more than you? What if I earn more than you? As a man, you need to be able to answer this question, because there will be some career, purpose-driven ladies that will earn more than you. You might be in that situation. Okay? And it's not when you get to that situation you now start to think about what you would do. Because what if your friends come and start telling you that, oh, the reason why your wife is not making you breakfast is because she's earning more than you? What are you going to do then? If you've not settled it in your mind, then at that moment, it's going to be a seed that has been sown. That will be a very, very horrible, troublesome problem in your marriage, because you've allowed the voice of somebody else come into your mind. What if I earn more than you? You need to be prepared for a woman to ask you that question. What if I earn more than you? And as a man, if you ask whoever you're dating to, what if I earn more than you? For us women, we don't really care. If you earn more than us, it's even good. Right? It's good. It's better. It's the best. It's the best. But for a man, I think this is more important for men to think. Right? You need to be able to put your ego down. If you're a person of the spirit, you need to be able to think and say, okay, if indeed she earns more than me, what am I going to be able to do at that point in time? What can I do? What should I be doing? How can I maintain my sanity? How can I maintain my provider status still? Which brings us to the next question. Who is the provider in a relationship? That's question number 5 now. Who is the provider in a relationship? So who is the provider in the relationship? Is it the man or the woman? This one is not a long story. Man or woman or both? Can I see your comment? Man, woman, both, neither. Who is the provider in a relationship? Okay. Okay, thank you. I see an answer here. So Alisa is saying, I asked my husband this question when we're courting. He grew up with the mindset that he should be the provider, but I grew up differently. From long discussion during courtship and mentorship, his views changed. So number 5, who is the provider in a relationship? Thank you so much for sharing, Alisa. Who should be the provider in a relationship? Who should be a provider? Who should be the provider in a relationship? Who should be the breadwinner of the relationship, right? Or in the marriage, not relationship, marriage. Who should be the provider in the marriage? Who should be? Is it the man? Is it the woman? Neither of them, or both of them? Society thinks the man should provide, okay? So this is a very deep question as well. So at the end of this series, by God's grace, there's going to be a book with all these questions so that people can go and download and just, use it as they see fit. But we're going to go into the scriptures just so we know exactly what the Bible tells us about provision. Okay? So when you read Genesis 2 verse 15, I mean, my husband is here, so... Oh, it was the answer for number 4. Oh, okay. Answer for... Oh, okay. So number 4 question, the answer that I read from Alisa was for number 4, that what if I earn more than you? And she's saying it was actually... Okay, because he thought he should be earning more. Okay, thank you for sharing with us and thank you for being so practical. Yeah, because as a man, you need to be able to ask yourself that question. what if my wife is a business person, she's an entrepreneur, and I am a salary earner and I work in a Fortune 500 company as a vice president. I earn very well, but my wife does, she's an entrepreneur. She earns more than me. What do I do? Right? What do you really do? Do you now say that because of that, okay, so let's just go into the next question. Who should be the provider for the home? So just like I was describing, if a lady earns more, should the man now say because of that he won't pay the rent? Should he say because of that he won't pay his children's school fees? Should he say because of that she earns more, then I don't have to do anything? After all, she's earning more anyway, so she can as well do it. Why can't she do it? The truth is, in Genesis 2, verse 15, God gave Adam work to do. Okay? God gave Adam work to do. And he said, Genesis 2:15, the Lord took the Lord God, Texas. Yeah, if you're in Texas and you're just, drinking coffee in your pajamas and they're giving you millions of dollars, what is the man going to do? What is he going to do? Right? Okay? And he's just an accountant. What will he do? So we need to ask ourselves this question and actually think about it. And I think it's good to get to a point as a man where, and I know people have different opinions. I've heard people say things like, when I get married, my wife is not going to work. She's not going to work. She's not going to work because she doesn't need to work. I just need her at home to take care of things, and I will provide for everything she needs. I don't want her out there working because it's a slap on my face for my wife to work because I can provide everything. If you are not in that same school of thought, you ask a man this question and he says something like that, that's not the person you're going to date. But if you don't ask, you won't know. And then you get married and the man comes and says, you're not going to work again. But he dated you and you were working. But in his mind, he expected you to quit your job after you get married. But you didn't ask him. And because you didn't ask him, there's no problem on the first week after, you took 2 weeks off work for your honeymoon. Week 3, you wake up in the morning, you're going to work, and he's like, where are you going? I'm going to work. Excuse me. It's like, no, you don't work. My wife cannot work. And you're like, what do you mean? When I was dating you, I was working. Why didn't you say anything about it? You didn't ask me. Because you didn't ask him. Because you didn't. Which is actually the next question that we're going to ask. That's question 5 or 6. What is your ideal marriage situation? Okay, and that question really is, we're going to go back to the provider one. But what is your ideal marriage situation? Does the wife work? Does she not work? Or can she work part-time? Or for the husband, does he work? Does he not work? What time are you getting back from work? Who is doing what in the house? Who pays the rent? Who pays the children's school fees? Who does this? Who does that? Like as many things as you can remember, just look around. Who pays the electricity bills? Do we split it in half? Or does the man take care of everything and the woman has to just enjoy her life? Or do we split everything because there's a recession while you're waiting to take upon everything? Or we continue to split everything for life, right? Number 6, thank you. Thank you, my love. What is your ideal marriage situation? And ask somebody. And it's an open-ended question. Don't give them clues. Just go into it. What is your ideal marriage situation? They might need to come back to you with their answers. But when they come back, they must have thought about it. And if you're hearing them say anything that you're not really agreeing with, then you can ask and probe deeper. So when you say this, what do you mean? When you say this, what do you mean? Some people will say, it's not important for my family to go on vacation. But you grew up taking vacations every year. You went camping every year before, the end of summer as a family. That was something you always did. You took road trips somewhere. You would always go somewhere nice with your family once a year. It doesn't even have to be abroad. Just somewhere close by. All of you would just go and enjoy yourself. Or when it's someone's birthday party, or when it's someone's birthday celebration, you grew up with the mindset that you must always celebrate or even at least buy a cake. And this person you're dating is saying, I don't even eat cake. What's important about it? I mean, these are not like very important things, but it's good for you to know. So that you're not getting angry on the day you wake up in the morning of your birthday and you're expecting balloons and cake and trumpets and saxophone. And there's nothing like that because this person doesn't really give a hoot because they don't know anything about it, right? So don't be angry, don't be upset. Those are things that you can prepare your mind for mentally. If somebody doesn't celebrate birthdays, I don't think that's like a big deal. It's not a big deal except to you, you're a birthday person. And you can figure out a way to help them to help you celebrate your birthday, right? Okay? Because, yeah, deep questions, but important because it's true. You woke up every day on your birthday singing. Somebody is singing for you. There's cake for you, because that's what we do for our own children. There's cake for them. We do all that. And then you're dating somebody and it's like, well, where's my cake? You don't know that you don't know it's my birthday. Yeah, it's your birthday. I already messaged you and I sent you happy birthday. So what? No, I need a cake. I need somebody to play the saxophone. I need balloons everywhere. But you didn't ask, and you're getting upset, and your birthday is ruined just because you didn't ask a question. And just like we always say, there's no stupid question, right? There's no stupid question. Just ask any question you think about, even if it's beyond the 50 plus questions I'll be giving you. Just ask anything that comes to your mind. Don't be afraid. And if you're afraid to ask somebody a question in a relationship, then why are you in that relationship? Because you shouldn't be afraid of whoever you're dating. And if you're afraid, then why are you even dating that person? That's not the person for you. Okay? So who is the provider in the relationship? Back to question number 5. So then the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden. Okay, so true. This is literally a conversation my husband and I have had. Where's my cake? Where's my cake? Oh my. And for some people, they're really big birthday people, and it's like, where's my cake? Like, my day is literally not, like, you just ruined my day. Because if there's no cake, there's no birthday. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. But if there's no cake, there's no birthday. So ask. Okay, so who is the provider in the family? Genesis 2:15. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. Okay? God gave him the Garden of Eden to tend it and to keep it. To tend it and to keep it. To tend it and to keep it. And when you read verse 20 says, this is Genesis 2 verse 20. It says, so Adam gave names to all the cattle, to all the birds, to the air, birds of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helper comparable to him. There was not found a helper comparable to him. And that is a message on his own. When you marry somebody, it has to be somebody comparable to you. Just like we were saying. You cannot expect somebody on, not like their levels, but you can't expect somebody on a level 15 to date you when you're on a level 2 and you refuse to grow. It's not going to work. Because the way you're attracted to level 15 is the way level 15 is attracted to only level 15 and not to level 2. So you just be like a brother and a sister to them, and that will be it. Full stop. Nothing else, nothing more. So we see here that from scriptures, initially, God put Adam in the garden to tend it, to do the work, right? So we know usually men have it in their DNAs to want to provide. Usually men, responsible men, have it in their DNAs to want to provide for their family. And as a woman, if you're listening here, you shouldn't take that away from a man, okay? You shouldn't take it away from him. How do you take it away from him? Like, okay, I don't know how you can take it away from him, but you shouldn't feel like there's something you have to do. You don't have to do anything. Not saying that in a home you don't have to contribute or do anything. We're saying whatever the man wants to do, as he provides for his family, he feels fulfilled. He feels like this is what I was made to do. No matter how stressful that job is, I'm telling you, the man is happy to go. Is happy to go and come back, and his wife is saying, wow, thank you so much. God bless you. You know, thank you for sacrificing so much for us. He's happy to hear. He doesn't care how stressful that job is. As long as you can appreciate the fact that he's doing something to provide for his family, I'm telling you, the man feels fulfilled in his own right. So what do you do if what he's making is not enough for the family? Right. There are different things you can do, but I think in summary, what we just need to understand is that as a woman, if you have a job as well, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. One of the things we have to remember is that women did not used to work per se until after the Great Depression, after World War II. Prior to World War II, you weren't really finding women working, because the men would go home. The standard of living was it was manageable for everybody. Everybody was just doing their own thing and they were happy. People would go to their backyard, get their vegetables, get their this, get their that. It wasn't like now that there's so many things that you have to buy for you to be fulfilled and happy in your life, right? So women were not even working then. It was the man really doing it. And the women didn't care because, this is what they know how to do. But as things got more expensive, and as you know, the inflation, recession, things like that, it became important for women to start working, because they didn't have as much in the family, and you don't want the family to suffer. So what can you do? You have an agreement, which is like what we said. What is your ideal marriage situation? Do I bring half? Do we split the bills? How do we do it? How do we do it? But you have to come to a consensus, knowing fully well that it's the man's responsibility to provide. It is the man's responsibility to provide. And I know there are so many people who say things like, oh no, I don't care. I don't want anybody to take care of me, especially as women. That's not true. Deep down inside, you want somebody to give you money. You want somebody to dash you money. You want somebody to buy you a gift. Deep down inside, women know it. No matter what front any woman puts up, the truth is you want somebody to take care of you. You just want to enjoy your life. Women just want to enjoy their lives. And the men don't mind. They just want to provide too. So it's a balance that God has created right from the beginning. But if you find that there's a situation where whatever the man is making is not enough for the family, there's nothing wrong with the woman working. There's nothing wrong in agreeing what we're going to do. If you say, okay, whatever the woman makes, maybe we can use it for groceries, or whatever the woman makes, we can use it for maybe whatever it is. You know, you bring the money together, pull it, make sure that you're a team, because you are a team. You are a team. You are a team. You are a team. But it should be the man providing the bulk of everything. That is how the woman will not feel stressed, because you found situations where the woman has become the breadwinner of the family, disrespecting her husband, disrespecting everything. Nobody can talk to her. Nobody can do anything. Of course, maybe the man too has his own bad behavior, right? Because women don't just get up and have bad behavior like that, because you must have pushed her to the wall for her to get to that point. But then again, a woman doesn't really want to be the breadwinner. No matter what she says to you, I'm telling you, as a woman does not want to be the breadwinner. It's a stressful place to be. Because when God created Adam and Eve, He says, I will give him a helper. So she can help to lift a burden for a while. Go back to her own, if a man loses his job, the wife can take up responsibility. Like if she's working, she can, while he's waiting to get another job. But he will now sit down and say, after all, she even has the money anyway and she's doing well on her own. I don't think I need a job. That is an irresponsible man. Okay? A man usually is the provider for the family, but you're a team. Remember that you're a team. If you can remember that you're a team, then you're not hiding your money from each other. Is my money, is your money, and all those kind of things that people do. And just like we said, divorce is not even in your mind already. So you're not thinking that somebody is going to cut you short. Because the reason why people don't want to disclose how much, and you're married, you can't even tell your spouse how much you earn. It's not even a marriage. That's a contract. And one day somebody will do something before you know it, there's divorce. But when you realize it's a covenant relationship, it's covenant, then there's no hiding, the Bible says, Adam, let me see. In verse 25 of Genesis 2, it says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. So he knew how much she was earning. He knew everything from her past. They knew everything about each other, and there was no shame whatsoever. No shame. Because people say, oh, my husband doesn't need to know how much I earn. He doesn't need to know this. But there will be a problem, because one day when he says he doesn't have, and he really doesn't have, you can't see that he doesn't have. Because why don't you have? And sometimes, there was this series, I can't remember the name. I don't know if you guys know. It's by Pastor Laju. It's Sheton Rhodes and his wife. I can't remember the name of the series now, but he had lost it. It was a pilot. I'm sure. I don't know if my husband remembers. I don't know if you guys watch it or watch it. It's on YouTube. I honestly cannot remember. Anyway, so he lost his job as a pilot, but he couldn't tell his wife that he had lost his job. He couldn't tell his wife, right? Like he couldn't tell his wife. And so if you find yourself in that kind of situation and the man loses his job or whatever, and he can't even tell you, and he's saying, sorry, I don't have, like, this thing, we are not going to be able to afford it. But if you were open right from the beginning, then you won't have that kind of situation, right? So, remember that you're a team. Remember that you're a team. Remember that you're a team. And if you're a man, the onus is on you to provide for your family. Because when a woman is, taking care of a child, maybe she just gave birth, she will need a couple of months for her to adjust. You don't expect her to start working, right? It is still the man that will be able to support the family at that time. Sometimes I hear because of the nature of my job, sometimes I will see women, they just gave birth and they're saying they're going back to work in 2 weeks. I'm like, why are you going back to work in 2 weeks? For what? They're like, I just have to work. I'm like, no, like, why are you going back to work 2 weeks after you just delivered? Why? I just have to because of this, that. Is it not even painful to you that you're listening? If you've, had children, you know how much you need rest in that period. Even your next doctor's visit is at 6 weeks. But some people, they don't even wait till that 6 weeks. They just have to go back to work. It's a stressful situation for any woman to be in. And I'm telling you, because it's the truth. It's the truth. So as a man, you need to develop yourself. Make sure you have all your certifications on point. If you need to do a postgraduate degree, go and do it. Just to make sure that you don't get to a point where your wife is feeling like, this is too much on me. Okay? If it's for a moment, women can handle it. But if it is an everlasting thing, women cannot handle it. Women were not made that way. So the man is the provider, even though we're a team, and the woman can definitely support. Any questions? Any questions? And this is, as you all know, I opened the Bible and showed us scriptures from this. Because I know some people will say things like, oh no, I'm independent, I'm this, I'm that. It's fine if you want to be independent, but if you want to be in a godly relationship, if you want to be in a godly home, a relationship where you are in a covenant, a marriage covenant, then these are the things we need to talk about. If you want to be in a marriage contract, or you just want to be roommates and be married, it's fine. Whatever you want to do is fine. But as a child of God, these are the things you want to aspire for, and you don't want to settle for less. Because a lot of people are settling for less because they feel like, I won't find anybody to date. I won't find anybody to be in a relationship with if my standards are high. Why do you want to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't understand your value and worth? Why do you want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't even understand, right? Okay? So your standard is not high. They need to come up higher, okay? And it's just like God saying that, because I've tried so much, these human beings, they're so this, they're so that. Let me just try and shift my standard a little bit. God is not shifting his standard for anybody. He has given us the grace to be able to meet up to the expectations that he has for us. He won't ask us to do something that he hasn't given us the ability for. And it's the same thing for us in a relationship. Don't settle. Don't settle because somebody thinks that your own is too much. The person who has a regard for a high value or something of worth will find you and you will find them. So don't settle at all. And I've had testimonies of people who they decided not to settle and God was able to give them the best. So don't ever think that you're stranded, God is stranded. Don't feel that way. Okay, so I think we've done 6 questions. Yeah. Do we have any questions? You guys, questions. You can send your questions directly. Even though we're talking about serious things, we can actually ask questions if you have any questions. And maybe somebody is saying now, exactly, God is not shifting his standards for anybody. He has given us the grace to be able to do what he expects from us. And we too, let's be like God. Be like your Father. Know what you want. Desire the best for yourself. And that is what God will do. The Bible says, as be it to you according to your faith. You believe God, you have faith for the best person for yourself. Then that is what God is going to give to you. But don't bring your standard down just because you're trying to. Remember what we said. If you bring your standard down, you'll be upset. You won't be happy in that relationship because you know your worth. You know what you really deserve. You know who you deserve in your life. You know the kind of person. If you bring it down, then what are we going to do? Right? Okay, so first question, do you want to get married? When do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? What was the number 4 question? Who is the provider? No, who is the provider? What if I earn more than you? Who is the provider in the home? And what is your ideal marriage situation? So we've done 6 questions today. So we've done 6 questions today. Next week we'll come back again. I hope you guys have taken your notes. And just during the week, if you're dating somebody, just go and ask them these questions. And as I've said, in the past, don't just open your book and start. Number 1, this is the question. Number 2, this is the question, right? You want to ask with tact. You want to ask with wisdom. You want to give them time to be able to go and come back and tell you that, okay, this is what my answer is. Give them time because these questions are quite deep. Some people may not have the answer right off the top of their heads like that. Give them time to go and think about it. And if you're single, you go and answer this question for yourself and say, okay, if somebody ever asks me this question, what is my response going to be? And you answer the questions by yourself. Make sure you're working on it. So when that person comes, you are getting ready. You're shifting your level as well. Okay, do we have any questions before we end for today? 6 questions, my goodness. Do we have any questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Questions? Because we're about to end it and wrap it up. Any more questions? And as I said, next week, if you guys want to be on the live, there'll be an opportunity for you to do so. And we'll just ask you, and we'll just hear what your response is, and we'll just make it more interactive and fun for everybody. And remember to invite your friends, okay? Remember to invite your friends, invite your co-workers, your colleagues, everybody, because you don't want to be the only one in your circle that has a nice relationship and your friends are just complaining to you, my boyfriend did this, my girlfriend did that. Like, let's not be selfish, okay? Next week, come ready and invite at least one person. When this live goes up, just share it on your stories or share it to somebody's DM directly. However, just make sure you share it to someone, however you want to do it. If you're in ghost mode on Instagram, share it in somebody's DM. If you can, share it in your story so that more people can see it and you can reach more people. Because I saw some of you tagging your friends. Thank you so much for tagging them and for inviting people. All right, so before we end, if you've not given your life to Jesus Christ, I'd just like to invite you to the best life you can ever live. See, the truth is, God has made a way for us to be reconciled to him. God really, really, really wants a relationship with you. It's a powerful relationship that is a very wonderful relationship that he wants with you. And the only way you can do that is through Jesus Christ. He sent his son to die for you. And if you're here, you're saying, well, I'm born again, but I'm not serious. Just ask God to help you to be serious and mean it from your heart and say, Lord, from today, I decide to change. I want to really live a life that pleases you. And you'll be amazed at what God will do for you. All right, everybody. And I pray that these questions will help us in Jesus' mighty name. And I pray that we will not miss it in our relationships in Jesus' name. All right, so you guys, I'll see you next week by God's grace. Remember, if you want to come on the live, make sure you're video ready or camera ready, however. And there'll be an opportunity for us to be able to do that. So we'll start from question number 7 next week, and we'll just take it like that until we're done. We have almost 60 questions. See, anybody that is not serious will leave you. Because you cannot be asking all these questions. It's either you want to answer or you don't want to answer, right? Or serious people will not be able to answer these questions. And then you know that, well, this person is a joker anyway, right? Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your Saturday with me. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Bye.